Welcome to Make Your Mark podcast, where guests share their experiences, insights, and tactics to help you accelerate your business. So building, scaling, and monetizing your business is made easier. And I will be your host, Kay Suthar. Hey guys, oh my goodness, I am super excited for this episode. I have been waiting for Terza, who's our awesome guest, to be coming on to the show for some time, because what she's going to be teaching us today is absolutely mind-blowing. I mean, I've had so many conversations with her about it, and we're maybe going to be looking into how this is going to work for both of us, because this is really intriguing. And today she's going to be discussing NFTs. Yes, that's right, guys. Some of you may have heard of it, some of you may not, but she is an absolute expert when it comes to NFTs and has found a way to build a business, invest, and build wealth around NFTs. Oh my goodness, Terza, thank you for coming on to the show. I'm super excited to have you here.
Thank you, Kay. I'm super delighted to be here. This is exciting.
It is. Oh my goodness. Now, I know there's so much that's involved when it comes to NFTs. But before we get into the whole nitty-gritty of this, I would love for you to tell our audience how you even got involved in NFT. Where did that idea come from?
Oh my goodness. Well, Kay, actually, most people might be surprised to discover or to learn that I have only been an artist for 11 years now. And naturally, I didn't start with
a long time.
Yeah.
Right?
A long time. But I started with physical art. So I did textiles, sculptures, that kind of thing. I played with paints and pouring. And I mean, it's been a blast. And then a couple of years ago, I got into digital art, which is a whole new realm. You can draw on your screen, and then there's other things you can do. There's these new text to image generators, learning how to use those properly. But then, kind of parallel with that, I was starting to explore cryptocurrencies in the whole world of crypto. And I began to see how they were overlapping. This whole thing called NFTs came out. Well, what is that? Well, it's the tokenization of your art so that you can easily trade them back and forth and buy and sell. And there's a whole huge host of uses for them. I mean, it is literally an unexplored universe.
Right. And you know what? I know we've had several conversations about this, and I was like, Terza, like NFTs, like they're blowing up. I need to get involved in this. But where does someone even start with this? Like, what are the basic things that we need to know about NFTs? I had no idea how this all worked, right? And I'm sure some of our listeners are kind of like, yep, heard of NFTs, don't know what they are, don't know how they work, don't know how to make no money. So what should people think about, or what are the kind of basics that we need to know when it comes to NFTs?
Well, first of all, people probably don't know this, but they have a lot more already that they can use for NFTs. And what I mean by that is any digital content you create can be minted as an NFT. Anything. It's really pretty amazing. There's a whole nother side if you want to mint physical objects as NFTs. I wouldn't even go there, because basically, when we're as entrepreneurs, whether we're podcasters or artists, or we're selling memberships or coaching, whatever, we have a bunch of assets. For one thing, we have a bunch of assets we use on social media. Any of those. Go ahead.
So are you saying then, like, not only images, but it could be text, as long as it's, I guess, some sort of thing that you can see in front of you? Right?
Sure, some visual, yeah.
Anything like that can be presented as an NFT.
Yes.
What happens next? What do you do with that? How do you turn it into an NFT?
So, for example, if it's a quote you can use that you have remember there's intellectual property, so think about that. But if it's a quote you can use, you could, for example, take an image of that. So now you have a visual. Right? Now, what you do is you do something that's called minting. And that sounds like a strange word, but think about that. When you're thinking about real currency like dollars and coins and
Right.
whatever the currency of your country is, wherever you live, they get minted somewhere, right? That's the
Okay.
factory for
Right.
the actual currency itself.
Mhm.
Well, this is no different. It's minting, but it's digital. It's
Right.
digital. So you're basically, you don't have, the cool thing is you don't have to do this, but you are really creating a smart contract between you and the rest of the world. And that's, the smart contract is what goes out on the blockchain, which is really the place where all of these things get stored.
Interesting. Okay. And so, I mean, what really got you interested in doing NFTs? Like, why should one think about NFTs for their business?
Well, in my case, I found it's a great place to showcase my digital art,
Right. Like the cats
right?
behind you.
Like the cats behind me.
Hmm.
But the thing is, what I was doing before is I was showcasing my digital art to a very small select group of people.
Mm.
Oh, that's fine, but you kind of need to expand from that. And when I was doing it just in my community, I was relying on being able to get into a gallery, or right, or entering into an art show. And again, these are all good things, but it keeps your world really small. Whereas
Right.
when you go for a digital asset, I have the whole world. I have the whole internet that I can invite to look at my art. Now, still only a small percentage of people will really care about what I'm putting out there, but it's a bigger number of people than what I was getting before.
Okay.
Right.
And can you actually make some serious money with NFTs?
Yes, you can. There's a couple of things for this. One is the value of whatever it is you create is what people are willing to pay for it. So that's the beginning. But then there's a secondary layer that a lot of people may not know about, and that's royalties. So that's when somebody buys my whatever it is I create, they enjoy it for a while, and say they get bored with it, they sell it to somebody else who enjoys it. They get their profit from selling the piece, but I always get a percentage of the resales.
Okay.
Where they go.
So it can go on forever. So you can
It can
have
go on
content
forever.
out there, be
Yeah.
sold,
Mhm.
and continue to be sold to the next person, next person, next person. But
Yes,
you, as the creator, will always get a percentage of the sale.
exactly. Exactly.
Interesting. Okay, I love that. I love that.
Now, the third part is really the investing part, which I'm not quite as good at, but I'm learning. And that is to engage in the NFT world. You can use US dollars because that's where I started because I wanted to keep it simple. But most people who are invested in this world are investing also in cryptocurrencies.
Mm.
Right now, as we know, everything is, really down, but a lot of things are down in different worlds too,
Yeah.
right? So it's not just cryptos, but lots of things. But the eternal hope of the investor, right, is that the prices of these things will go back up. And so if you're holding an NFT that was worth 100, whatever your favorite coin is, and now it's worth one of your favorite coin, well, that's not very exciting, but you're hoping that eventually that's going to go back up, and maybe someday it'll be worth 200 or 1,000 of your favorite coin.
Okay, so I guess just like stocks, just like everything else, it goes, the value goes up and down.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
interesting. I like that. Now,
Yeah.
oh my goodness. I remember I was having a conversation with you and I was like, I want to do NFTs, Terza. I don't know nothing about it, how it works, but I'm super excited about it. And what I really wanted to do is figure out a way how we can turn podcasting episodes into NFTs. And I was really conscious that you said it has to be an image, right? And podcasting isn't necessarily an image, it can be a video or an audio.
Right.
So when you told me this, I was like, how do you turn an episode into an image, right? And so I would love for you to just talk about how you can actually do that, because monetizing in the podcasting world is so important. I mean, it is in business anyway, right? But it's being different, it's making your mark, right? Just like the title of this podcast, that's what we're here to talk about, is making your mark, being different, standing out from your competitors, right? And so tell me a little bit about NFTs and podcasting and how that can really work.
So it's interesting that you named your podcast "Making Your Mark." I just love that, because one of the things that one of the few courses I actually took as an artist is about making your mark as an artist,
Oh,
creating a mark
interesting.
that's unique to you. Eventually, I didn't know at all ever that I would come up with this, but
Mm-hmm.
coffee cats right now are my mark.
And
So,
I love them. They're so cute. And I was like, oh my goodness, it's so simple, but so I guess it attracts the eyes, right? And you're like, it's got this comical feel about it to it as well. And you're
yeah,
like, okay. And all of a sudden, you spend like an hour like scrolling through all the different coffee cat images that you have, right? Because it's so
right.
intriguing.
But
So
here,
I really love that you've come up with this kind of concept.
thank you. Thank you. So here it is. But back to your original question. The super simplest way you could make each one of your episodes stand out is to always take a screenshot of you and the other person that's in your podcast. And if you put that next to each of your episodes, right, people can go through and go, oh, well, that's interesting, right? Because some people, that people have different learning styles, right? Visual, auditory, and I'll just call it reading rather than kinesthetic, because you're not going to touch the podcast. So if I read through all of your episodes, it's, wow, that's interesting, that's cool. But if they were accompanied by a picture of you and the other person, I'd go, not only is that cool, but that person looks really interesting. What are they about? For example.
Okay. But why would that intrigue someone to buy that NFT if it's just a picture of two people that they're not really sure of?
Now, so they might not want to buy that NFT, but if you behind the scenes were to pick out, say, your top 10 moments,
Oh,
right? Where a moment could be anywhere from, I don't know, 5 seconds to a minute. I wouldn't go like for an hour long thing, but if you had your moments, the moment would be a screenshot is close to that moment. Doesn't have to be, but something similar. That moment plus that sound bite.
wait, a soundbite, but it has to be an image. It can't be audio, right?
Oh, no. You can have an image would be the front part, so to speak. And then you can include a link to that soundbite.
Ooh, that's interesting. Okay, see, guys, even I'm learning something new here. This is super cool. Okay, and so then I guess if you have your own podcasting website, right,
Mhm.
where it has all the episodes, and you have a section for the NFT with a particular soundbite that's really intriguing, curious, people are going to want to know about it. They're going to see that image and be like, "Hey, what just happened there? What was going on there?" Right?
Mhm.
And then want to listen to that soundbite. Is that
Yes,
right?
but right. So and you can even have it play that soundbite when they roll their mouse over the image. So you don't have to keep it hidden per se, but
Oh,
then they can buy, sell, and trade the sound bites with the associated images.
interesting. Okay. Now you just made it sound super, super simple, right?
Yes.
Super simple. Is it that simple in putting NFTs together?
Actually, it turns out there are some platforms that make it easier than others.
What do you mean
So
by
well, there's the biggest one right out there right now is called OpenSea, OPEN, Open SEA, OpenSea.io. And they have a ton of NFTs out there of all different types. I haven't investigated how to combine, what I just described to you on OpenSea, but I suspect it's already there. But if it's just an image, for example, you go over to OpenSea and literally you click create or whatever their equivalent create button is, and you
right?
upload your image, and it does all the programming in the background, so you don't have to. It's
Oh,
now minted. It's on the OpenSea blockchain, and then the next step will be for you to put a price on it. And then
ah,
that's it. It's out there. Now, you probably still need to market it and build your community and that kind of thing.
okay.
But now they have something more digitally tangible that they
Right.
can associate with you. I use a different platform called Voice because I found out even easier, especially because on Voice you can still deal in US dollars.
Okay, got it.
Right.
And so these platforms you're talking about, they're like hosting platforms, I'm assuming.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And I want to say they have their own blockchain. That's not quite accurate. They have public blockchains that anybody in the world can access. So as opposed to doing if it's a private blockchain, which is what Voice was, that's sort of the equivalent of having your own gallery, in some downtown city. It can be majorly big and beautiful, but you have to actually go there to go see, right? That's a private blockchain. They're going to a public blockchain, so anybody can come.
Okay, interesting. And so, I mean, clearly you've got a passion for NFTs, right? And you do this quite often. You've created so many different images around it. But what if there's, I don't know, a coach out there, right, that maybe teaches on leadership, for example? How would someone like that be able to get into NFTs? And would it be a good idea for them to do this in their business?
Yes. Yes. One is they could actually put their courses, they could mint their courses or their course modules as NFTs.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So yes, each module could be an NFT and you could sell a subscription, or you could also, just like you do now, you could sell a subscription so they get each, module when they're done with the next one.
Right.
Or you can sell the whole package so they get the whole thing at once and they can go through it at their own pace. But the other thing is they could also sell an NFT that gives that person exclusive access to the coach.
Ooh,
or to a smaller group. So you could have the coaches group, right? The master level group, and then you could have the individual one-on-one, right? And the entrance to each of those could be an NFT.
Okay, so now you're blowing my mind because now I'm like, again, you made it so simple, and I was like, I didn't realize you could do things like with programs and courses, which means that everyone in business could be doing NFTs.
Yes. Yes. And here's the cool thing. Your students who love you, right? They become your affiliates. If they go sell your course to somebody else, right? They've just become your affiliates.
Oh my goodness. Terza, why is it I'm only hearing about this? Like, everyone should be doing this now, right?
Because the whole thing with cryptocurrency is, I think, obscuring the real message, right?
Right.
You don't have to know everything about Bitcoin and Ethereum and Cardano and Solana. That's great, but you don't have to know all about that. You just need to use NFTs as the utilities they can become for you.
Wow. Okay. So you're totally educating me, and you know what? I'm totally using this episode and getting coaching from you right now, right? Like, this is super cool. Like, it just sounds like there's so much you can do with NFTs, right? And it can be very simple as long as you know what the process looks like, what the structure is. Like, you have to have a hosting platform to actually sell your images and NFTs on there, which is really cool. But what if someone like me wants to understand how that works but doesn't want to do it, right? Wow. Can we come to you and say, Terza, can you just do this for us? I've got this idea, because I don't want to spend hours and hours learning and putting it all together.
It's a done-for-you program.
All right. Okay. So tell me a little bit about that and what that looks like and how long it takes to put a concept together.
Well, first, of course, we'd have to meet a couple of times so I can understand what it is you're trying to achieve, and also what styles you like, because not everybody wants the cartoonish look of the coffee cats, right? Right. But then there'll be some process of going through some visuals and going through some designs. But basically, I find out what your purpose is. We come to I help formulate it, or we co-create a strategy, right? For how to create them and how to market them. And then I go off and put these things together with you, or for you rather. And then with your approval, we hit the launch button and off it goes.
Oh, wow. Okay. Now, there's something else I want to ask about that. You just said you just put it on there and off it goes.
Mm-hmm.
But there's still marketing you have to do behind that too, right? Or
Right.
does the system do the marketing for you?
Oh, no. It's like anything else. You're creating your own community. You're building relationships. It's just that this is such a unique and wonderful tool because it allows you to directly engage with your audience. Right. So once they're out there, right now, what's even cooler about it is you're now engaging with the people who are most interested in what you have to offer.
Yes.
There's far less sifting through people who we all like to look at stuff, but there's a lot of things we don't really want to buy or need to buy. Sometimes we buy them even if we don't need them, but then we don't do anything with them. Now we're engaging, and it feels like, right, when I sign up from your master class, afterwards it feels like, oh, I've got a direct line to Kay. It doesn't have to be exactly true, but I can feel like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. It's really how it makes people feel, right, once they've got the particular NFT. And and if later on down the line they have a change of heart and they're like, oh, I don't want this NFT, this goes to somebody else, and you still get paid, the creator still gets paid, right?
Yes.
And so that's super cool. One of the things that you mentioned to me previously as well, which I thought was an awesome idea, is you don't just have to have images and sell them one by one. You can actually package them up as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so that means that if you package them up together, you can sell them at a higher price, but then you got more of your content out there as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
right?
exactly.
So I like that idea. I was like, okay, this NFT is just like having another business.
Yes.
Right? Because you got to do the marketing, you got to build your community, you got to I guess create content or just use the content that you already have to put it out there. But it's another way of having an income stream, which we all love in business, right? We want more different income streams. So this is awesome. And the fact that you can do it for us, right? We don't have to take on the headache. We just have the idea is even better.
Yeah.
No, there's so much that I've learned from you just by talking to you, right? And kind of revelations that I didn't realize that, you can put courses up there, and basically any coach, even an author, a podcaster, no matter what you're doing in business, there is a way to build that income stream and get into NFTs, which is amazing.
Yes.
Now, because I've learned so much from you, you do this. You educate people on how it's done, why they should get into NFTs. I would love for you to explain how you've used podcasting to educate people and what it's actually done for you and your business.
Oh, podcasting is super, super amazing. So it's taken me out of the realm of, well, actually, it takes this one-on-one conversation that you and I are having,
right,
and it now puts it out there to one-to-many. So because I'm on your podcast, your audience is going to get to learn from both of us at the same time. So that gives me access to your audience. And then, but there's more, because I'm now giving you access to my audience. So it's a win-win already for both of us. Right. And it'll encourage our audiences to look in directions they wouldn't have otherwise.
Right. And so I've got a question for you. I know you're guesting on podcasts and you're an amazing guest, right? Guys, if you're looking for a guest for your podcast, Terza, she is the lady for you. She's absolutely amazing, has so much knowledge and experience, as you have already heard. So if you want a guest, contact Terza. But I mean, I know you get on loads of podcasts. Do you have your own podcast that people can go to?
I don't actually have my own podcast, maybe yet, because that might be something I'd be looking into. What I've just started getting into is I do a Facebook Live into a private Facebook every week, every Thursday.
Oh, fantastic. So if people want to listen to more content, being educated around this a little bit more, they can go to your Facebook Lives.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
fantastic. Now, we do have links for Terza. Guys, we will be adding those to the show notes. But Terza, oh my goodness, it was amazing to have you here. And do you have any last words before we finish this episode?
Yes, don't be afraid to jump into this space. I know it feels new and kind of weird and wonky, but you're already creating content that people love.
Right. And guys, contact Terza. Terza, if people want to reach out to you, right, have a conversation with you, be part of these Facebook Lives that you're doing, educating people, where would they go?
Actually, if you go onto Facebook and do a search on Coffee Cat Chat, you'll find me.
Okay, Coffee Cat Chat. Awesome, guys. Make sure you reach out to Terza, learn more about NFTs, and get this implemented in your business. It's going to be another source of income stream coming in. And the fact is that you don't need to do any of it. Get Terza to do it. Just understand how it works, work with her, and get it out there, guys. Oh my goodness, Terza, it was amazing to have you on this show. And I urge you, keep doing what you're doing, getting on podcasts and educating people, because more people need to understand about NFTs and how it all works. You do amazing work. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Make Your Mark podcast at www.makeyourmarkpodcast.com. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get this and every other episode that comes out. We have lots of great stuff coming, so make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss it. And thank you in advance for all the reviews and comments. I appreciate it so much, and I look forward to serving you in next week's episode.